Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be looking at 4 days with the MacBook Pro M4 Max. So I've had the Pro M4 Max, which is a bit of a mouthful, for just about 4 or 5 days now, which has given me enough time to get you some initial impressions on the laptop. I've seen there's a lot of YouTube videos out there doing reviews on this laptop, and I don't want to do the same thing as they're doing. What I want to do is hold true to my channel values and show you whether this laptop is actually worth something buying it for you that could use in the real world, and also if it can improve your digital life. I want to try and simplify the MacBook Pro lineup. As I can see, I understand that the new M4 CPUs have created some confusion, and you've got a price range now from 1.5k up to nearly 4 grand, or 7 grand if you spec it up higher. And I want to try and clarify which CPU you should choose, how much memory you should choose, and not everyone needs to spend 5, 6, 7,000 pounds on a laptop. So in this video, we'll go into some detail about which one you should buy and for your needs. So which model did I choose and what is the price? So the model I went for was the 3499 16-inch unit, which comes with the M4 Max base CPU, which is a 14-core CPU and 30-core GPU, 36 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive. You can buy it in the 14-inch screen version, which knocks a bit of money off down to 3199 with exactly the same specification, just the screen size is different. You can also get the 3999 one, so 4 grand essentially, which has a slightly more powerful CPU and more memory. And then you can also have the top configuration if you spec it up yourself, up to 7349 with 128 gigabytes of RAM and an 8 terabyte hard drive. So it goes right from 3199 all the way up to 8 grand. So you can have the M4 Max chip in a very wide range of prices depending on your needs. So why did I choose the 3499 model? Because I thought if people are looking for a 16-inch very powerful laptop, this is the most likely one they're going to go for, because it's not got silly amounts of RAM. It's sort of in between. So over the past 4 days, I've been putting it through its paces and have enjoyed using it, but I have some initial thoughts on it and who it's for. I'm going to go into some details on the design and everything like that. So what is the design of the MacBook Pro? So so it's not a new design, it's a refreshed design. So the original design came out with the M1 Max back in 4 or 5 years ago. So this hasn't been really changed since then. So you've got, as you know, you've got a 16-inch, 14-inch model in the Pros. There's no difference really between the base model MacBook Pro in terms of connectivity to the top of the range M4 Max one, apart from you get Thunderbolt 5 ports. So what does Thunderbolt 5 mean? So it's just a faster transfer speeds. There isn't many Thunderbolt 5 products around at the moment. It is insanely fast if you can get hold of one, but at the moment I wouldn't be saying it's something that you need to worry about for the average user. Thunderbolt 3 and 4 are fine. I use a Thunderbolt 4 hard drive. It's really quick, no problems whatsoever. So you get exactly the same. So you get what ports do you get on the MacBook Pro over the air, for example? So you get a lot of Thunderbolt ports. You get 3 altogether. You get a 3.5mm headphone jack. You get HDMI output and a high-speed SD card reader. Now I love having the SD card reader as a content creator because it enables me to take the SD card out the camera, stick it straight in the laptop, and there you go. I've got my files on my laptop ready to work straight away. I do miss this on the Air, but I love the Air's thin form factor. So the Air only has 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports on it. That's all you get on the Air, and a MagSafe connector, and no headphone. I think you get a headphone jack as well. Sorry, yeah, the headphone jack as well. So if you can connect headphones and external mics to it, so that's quite useful. So the Pro design, it comes in a 14-inch and 16-inch, which is a mini LED display. It's called Apple's XDR display. It has 120 Hz refresh rate, which is their Pro Motion display, so the same as the iPhone Pro. It is a lovely screen for photo and video editing, and we'll go into more on that later. I love the design of the trackpad as well. It's a very, very large trackpad for navigating around everyday tasks and very easy to use for video work and photo work. So if you're doing anything like that, intensive work on the laptop without an external keyboard and mouse, it's very easy to use. It's also backlit and feels great to type on. It has a nice feedback on the keyboard. It's a full aluminium design, and it comes in either space black or aluminium. It feels very much like a silver. It feels very nicely made, as usual with Apple quality, and I would say it would last for years. I know people have had M1 Max MacBooks for 5 years and have got no problems with them. They're still going strong. Batteries are probably running a bit low, but apart from that, they're absolutely fine. It is a really heavy laptop, so as I say, the 16-inch guys is not something I think you would want to walk around with on a daily basis. Some people might not be bothered. I would not want to walk around with the 16-inch version every day. That's just my initial thoughts. I would go for the 14-inch lineup if you want to use this kind of power. If you need the M4 Max chip, M4 Pro chip, if you need that kind of power, I would go for the 14-inch one and walk around and use that as my daily laptop to carry around and take to work, etc. If this is just going to sit on your desk and plug into a monitor, then fine, go for the 16-inch one, because if you're using it at home, you can have a bigger screen to use on the sofa, etc. So it's depending on what you're going to do with it. But if you're going to take it around a lot of places, go for the smaller screen is my advice. So it comes with a 6-speaker setup as well, which sounds fantastic. I really like the speaker setup on the Air I've got already. I think that's a great speaker system. I think it's even better on the Pros because it's got a beefier chassis and it's got beefier sound. You can easily watch a film on it with a group of friends, and you've got a great portable cinema because the screen's fantastic, and you've got great Dolby Atmos spatial sound. It's also got studio quality microphones for FaceTime calls, and I've been told these sound great. So there you have it. That's the initial thoughts on the design. So one thing I wanted to cover is battery life on the MacBook Pros as well during this initial 4-day test. So what I've noticed, it's supposed to have a 24-hour life, and this is true to an extent. If you're just doing word processing-based tasks, office-based work, then they will run for 24 hours nearly, probably a bit less. But if you do any video editing, you're looking at 12 hours or 8 hours. If you're running these CPUs hard, you're going to use the battery a lot quicker. It comes with a 143-watt charger, which is really powerful. It can charge the laptop really fast, so that's something that's great. And it charges in the box. It's not obviously paying that much money. You would expect that, but it gives you that bump in charging speed. So I can charge this really quickly, and it's been great to do that. Charging up is so easy. So, for example, who should buy this kind of laptop? So, if you're looking at the M4 Max chip and you do sort of, if you're doing 8K rendering, video coding, anything like that, then this will give you the best performance. Again, the M4 model, I've done some 8K rendering on it in a relatively simple timeline, and it runs absolutely fine. So the base model M4 chip is still going to run fine for occasional 8K edit. It can do it, but if you do a lot for your job, then you need to go down the Pro or the Max chip. I think the M4 Pro is the sweet spot for the creatives, and the M4 standard chip is the sweet spot for the non-creatives. That's what I'm going to say. The Max is really right at the upper end of people, and it's a very limited market if people actually need that much power. So why did I want to showcase the M4 Pro Max on this channel? So the reason why I did is because when I got my iMac and my M4 Pro Mini, I wasn't expecting the massive performance bump I got over the M3 chips. I was so impressed by those chips, but I thought, blimey, how fast can this M4 Max chip be? So I got hold of one. I wanted just to give you my opinion on who should buy the Max chip. So I've compared it to the Mac Mini M4 Pro and the Mac iMac. Both are great computers, and I love them. I use them every day. So after 4 days use, I would say it does feel like the M4 Max is overkill and overspend for what I do. So I'm a content creator who does video editing every day, and I would say the M4 Max chip is overkill for what I do personally. I do not need this laptop. This is for a family member who does something else much more intense than I do. But in terms of what I do as a creative, the M4 Pro chip is fine. Where I would spend the money, if you're a video creator like me, is on the RAM. So I would go for I'd either go for the standard M4 chip if you do occasional video edits and bump the RAM up if you want a more powerful machine, or I'd go for the M4 Pro with the 24 gig of RAM, or maybe even 36 gigabytes, because the RAM can get eaten up really quickly. I've watched the activity monitor when I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro, and all 24 gig on the M4 Pro is used up really fast. So spec the RAM up. You can go up to about 64 gig on the Mac Mini, I think, and you can go up to 128 gig on the MacBook Pros. So spend your money on the RAM upgrade rather than the CPU. That's where you'll see the performance. So go for the M4 Pro chip with the higher RAM, and that'll give you a great laptop, great performing laptop. Do not spend the money on the Max chip and save. You get more RAM on the Max chips anyway, but save yourself a bit of cash. Get the M4 Pro chip with a bit more RAM, maybe. So other people, and I get asked this question as well, would I upgrade from an M1 Max MacBook? So if I've got friends with M1 Max MacBook Pros, and if the battery's starting to age, you're starting to lose battery life because the battery's much better on these new ones, now is a good time, probably one of the best times to upgrade, because you can get a decent trading price from Apple and get the base M4 or M4 Pro chip, which will give you much more performance over your M1 Max. If you still want the Max chip, then it's probably, you can still upgrade, but obviously you can be paying a lot more for that. And just please think about whether you need it or not, because this M4 Max is really overkill for most people. The screen's brighter as well on this model, so have a go in the Apple Store at it, and you'll see that it's probably nicer than your M1 Max Mac laptop. But if you're happy with the M1 Max one and the battery's fine, then there's no real reason to definitely upgrade. But now is the best time to do so than ever at the moment, because you're 3 generations past the M1 chip, and we are seeing great performance boosts on these new M4 chips. So lastly, should you buy one and who should? So as mentioned previously, if money's no object on the M4 Max chip, then by all means get it. It's a fantastic machine, it offers fantastic performance, longevity. It'll go on for 10 years or longer if you keep the battery replaced. It's great for doing video, photo work, 3D rendering, anything like that. It's just so powerful. You can export files in record time on Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro. It can do all this with a 24-hour battery life as long as you don't hammer it too much. So if you're doing machine coding, 3D animation work, then the Max chip possibly one for you. Anyone else, go for the M4 chip or the M4 Pro, because it's just going to be overkill. So I think the Max chip has a very limited market, as I've just really kind of said, and for most people, if you want that kind of powerful laptop, then look at the 1599 M4 MacBook Pro. And if you want the 16-inch screen, go for the base model 16-inch. And just upgrade the RAM if you want extra performance, because it's amazing how much upgrading the RAM increases the performance actually, just from going from 16 gig to 24 gig to 36 gig on this one. The difference is huge for me just on the RAM. I think that 1599 M4 MacBook Pro offers the best value for money. So what I'll do is I'm going to continue using this laptop over the next month. I'll continue to give you feedback on it, and then I'm going to give it to my family member, and I'll give you the overall 1 month long-term thoughts on the Mac Pro M4 Max. But at the moment, it is overkill for most people, but it's still a great machine. So look at the base models and the M4 Pro chips. So thank you for watching as usual. Please subscribe if you haven't done already. I really appreciate it, and I'll speak to you next time. Thank you.